Folding e-bikes are supposed to be portable, but if I'm being honest, many of them feel like you're lugging around a suitcase full of bricks. But not this one. This is the Urtopia Carbon Fold Step-Thru. It weighs in at just 31 pounds. That makes this light not only for an e-bike, but for an analog bike as well. Urtopia has taken their carbon fiber obsession and applied it to a low step folder, resulting in a frame that looks less like your traditional e-bike and more like something that belongs in a modern art museum. I mean, check out these lines. This might just be my favorite design from them yet. Today, we're going to talk about all the specs, then we'll get into some first-person riding footage. I'll talk all about how this bike performs and feels on the road, and then I'll talk about who should and shouldn't buy this electric bike, all with the goal of helping you make an informed purchase decision. But first, let's take a closer look. Since the claim weight is so impressively low, let's put it on our scale. We're at 36.6 pounds, that's with the battery and the fenders. And the Seat 2 battery with the seat weighs in right at 5 pounds, which means yes, this bike without the battery weighs 31 pounds. Before we talk about this battery and what the capacity is and all the other specs, let's talk briefly about Urtopia. From my perspective, they are kind of blitzing the market with carbon fiber e-bikes. That's all they do. We've reviewed all of their models, and you can help us continue to review their models. If you're buying a Urtopia, you can use the link down in the description or scan the QR code on your screen now. Thank you so much for your support. The Carbon Fold Step-Thru is currently available at $15.99, though you can check up-to-date pricing and check out any included accessories also using those links down below. Urtopia bikes are also available in some bike shops across the United States, and to truly appreciate the carbon build on these, you need to see them in person. So this is a seat post battery, something that's not really uncommon for lighter weight folding e-bikes. We've seen it before. This one in particular is a 36 volt, 7 amp hour battery. It is certified to UL 2271. The entire bike's electronics are certified to UL 2849. And so yes, because there's batteries actually in the seat post, it is a little bit wider in diameter. And on top, a standard Velo plush seat. The charge port is actually located right here, so it's not too bad to get the charger in. And what I like is that the battery is removable in case you live in a colder climate. And then yes, when you install the seat posts, you just need to plug in this wire that's under the bike. Urtopia's stated height range on this e-bike is 4'11" up to 6'5". So it actually has a maximum insertion point. That's of course because you don't want the seat post to go too far in the ground because you'll have less clearance. I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam. The minimum insertion point though is all the way up here, so I don't doubt the 6'5" estimate, though you're going to be towering over the handlebars. I also have the handlebars raised up. You can lower them if you prefer, but I can certainly get full leg extension. The bike is offered in this cream, which looks like a nice glossy white or glacier blue. The tires are from Kenda. They're 20 by 1.95 inches wide, street tread. There's plastic fenders, Tektro hydraulic disc brakes with 160 millimeter rotors. It's a quick release front axle. I'll show you what this does when I fold the bike towards the end of the walk around. The front light runs off the main battery. It's 60 lux. The rear light is built right into the frame behind the seat post, and it's a running light, not brake actuated. The cables run into the frame. There's 2 bottle cage bosses, matching Tektro hydraulic disc brake levers, no motor cutoffs, locking grips, included bell, and Shimano's 7-speed trigger shifter, quick release adjustable handlebars, and a left-hand thumb throttle that, at least at time of recording, was an add-on. There's a USB-C port located beneath the display to charge your device, power button on top, current time top left, pedal assist level top middle, along with estimated range, Eco, Tour, Smart, and Boost. You can engage walk mode by holding pedal assist down, battery capacity in the top right, speed front and center. The bar on the left shows rider power, on the right, motor power and RPM. Hitting the bottom button will give you additional information. Over to trip time, average speed and max speed, a breakdown between rider power and motor power, and total trip, and back to the main screen. You can get into additional settings by holding the bottom button. This is where you can reset your trip, and you can turn the lights on by holding pedal assist up, indicator at the top of the screen. And that's it for the display. The plastic pedals are from Welgo and they fold. Rear mounted kickstand with a pad on it so it doesn't sink into the ground. The motor has 500 watts of peak power, 42 newton meters of torque, engaged with a torque sensor. The derailleur is Shimano Tourney. Again, 7 speeds, 14 to 28 teeth in the rear, and up front is a 52 tooth chainring. There's also mounting points for a rear rack. Next, let's fold it. I'll lower the handlebars a little bit to give me more slack. Fold the pedals, push in, flip up. I'll lower the seat post because that's what the bike can rest on so it doesn't tip over. I'll bring the handlebars down, pull up, and pull out. Next, the main folding point, which is built seamlessly into the frame. I'll slide and pull out, and I'll bring the frame around. Nice and easy. Flip the kickstand up, let the bike rest, and bring the wheels together. They magnet together, which is nice. And now I could throw it in a corner of my garage, put it in my vehicle. Again, at 36 pounds, not too bad to carry around. And of course, you could remove the seat post to make it even easier. Now, lightweight and carbon fiber is great and all, but let's see how this bike performs. 3, 2, 1, throttle only. And I do have it in boost mode. That does seem to matter. 14. We have some wind too today. There's 18. 500 watt peak motor according to Urtopia. And there is 20 miles an hour. Let's go to Eco just so you can see the difference. Still holding the throttle. And of course it's giving me less power from the motor and we're cruising at 12. I actually like that, especially on a throttle like this, because you can't really modulate this one. And so having the pedal assist tied to throttle output, I think makes sense. Now this is a torque sensor. That means the more power that I put into the pedals, the more power I get from the motor. So let's start here in Eco, and a nice gentle cadence here. I'm in first gear, so very easy to cruise at 8 miles an hour. I'm just spinning my legs. We'll shift up. There's third gear. Cruising at 10 miles an hour, putting in a little bit more effort, but not too much. Let's shift up to fourth gear. Cruising at 13. I mean, this is such a lightweight e-bike, so it doesn't take much to get it going a little faster. All right, and I switched it so I can see how many watts I'm getting from the motor. Currently just under 100 watts, going up a slight hill at 14 miles an hour. We'll shift up here into fifth gear. So I can still go 15 miles an hour in Eco, but you have to work a little bit more for it. Let's go into Tour. All right, now we're jumping into around 100, 160 watts more easily, cruising at 13 miles an hour. We'll shift up into sixth gear. Torque sensor, very responsive, a little bit more pedal pressure, and getting to 16 miles an hour, getting closer to 200 watts. There's 17. Shift up again to seventh gear, 18 miles an hour. Still pretty doable on flat ground. Now in smart, we'll leave it in seventh gear, gentle cadence, 15 miles an hour. If you're new to e-bikes, it's actually surprising, at least on flat ground, how little power you need to hold you at a decent speed that many people want to travel. There's 15, very easily, a little bit more. And yeah, just instant, up to 17, 18, and just a little bit more. Now we're hitting 300 watts, and there's the top speed of 20 miles per hour. This is a true class 2 electric bike. All right, I have it in boost, and I'll start from a stop. And there we go. I'm seeing 400 watts. All right, and there's 20 miles an hour. So in boost, it's very easy to hold 18 miles an hour. My legs are spinning maybe a little bit faster than I'd prefer, but still very doable. And there we go, we did hit 20, and we're just sipping on the battery, using around 150 watts there. So I'd say 18, 19 miles an hour, extremely easy to do. Just kind of barely spinning my legs, and then just a tiny bit more leg pressure. That's when you get more power from the motor, and it does, of course, cut out at 20. Let's see if we can see what the max wattage is here with one hard pedal stroke. There we go, 438 was the top I saw, at least on the display. All right, this is a 500 watt peak motor with a 36 volt system. Let's see how it performs up our hill climb test. All right, this is our hill climb test. This hill is absolutely massive. We'll see how this 36 volt, 500 watt peak motor performs, and if it can't make it to the top, we'll switch to pedaling. Motor power saying 400 watts, slowing down to 4 miles an hour, and I think that's going to be it. So let's see if I can pedal up the hill here. All right, shifted down. And let's see. Let's go in eco. All right, significant workout. Not surprising. Let's go up to tour. Not a whole lot of relief there. Getting more wattage though. There's 200 watts. I could do this. Let's go up to smart. There we go. Pretty easy to get 250 watts out of the motor. And then finally boost. So as long as I can keep my legs spinning in the lowest gear, I'm getting around 300 watts. And then of course, a little bit more power from my legs. That'll jump into the 300s. So it shouldn't be surprising that this bike isn't necessarily meant for massive hills, though as long as you don't mind pedaling and putting in a decent amount of effort, it can do hills. But I want to talk about a couple things. One, the throttle. When you're at a stop, you actually have to double press the throttle in order for it to work. When you're moving, it's no problem. You get instant access. Kind of the way I would describe that is, it's kind of the bike saying, hey, you press the throttle. Did you really mean to? Then press it again. So it's a safety thing, so you don't accidentally hit the throttle and the bike takes off on you. And with pedal assist off, no access to the throttle. As far as the bike geometry and feel, it feels much like a lot of the folding e-bikes, similar handlebars, similar riding position, where yes, you are a little bit more upright. The smaller wheels make this bike feel very nimble, and of course it being lightweight, it just feels lighter underneath you compared to the heavier folding e-bikes on the market, that's for sure. Of course, there's no suspension, so this isn't a bike you're going to take off-road. That shouldn't be surprising. So here's a smaller hill, maybe one that you would more frequently encounter rather than a massive hill, depending on where you live, of course. And so it shows that we're getting 300 watts. And the wattage is actually going down, but of course, if I start pedaling, I can make it to the top. So as we've seen with other Urtopia models, other 36 volt systems, this bike best suited for flat ground and hills only if you don't mind pedaling. With that, let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the Urtopia Carbon Fold Step-Thru. What really excites me about the Carbon Fold Step-Thru is the overall design. At $15.99, it comes in at an attractive price point when you consider what you're getting. You aren't paying a massive premium for a carbon fiber frame here, and honestly, no other brand is doing this right now. That's what makes Urtopia unique. Even if you never plan to fold this bike, there's a lot to like for the right rider. Because of the 20-inch tires, it's a smaller, more manageable platform that's perfect for shorter riders. The step-through design is incredibly accessible, and then you have the added bonus of it being lightweight, a spec that is often overlooked by people new to e-bike shopping. It's also one of the more futuristic e-bikes I've tested. You've got the rear light built directly into the frame and a unique silhouette with no traditional rear triangle, just 2 seat stays. And compared to other Urtopia models, you get the functional benefit of a folding frame. This makes it great for storage, and of course, it's just going to be that much easier to put it in your vehicle. One touch I appreciate is the integrated magnet that helps keep the bike securely locked together when it's folded. As for the components, the LCD display is intuitive and the hydraulic disc brakes provide plenty of stopping power. While it uses an entry-level derailleur, it functions perfectly fine for recreational riding. On flat ground, that accessibility continues. It offers a gentle boost in lower pedal assist levels, but still allows you to hit that 20 mph top speed without significant effort. And that's great given that this is a 250 watt motor that peaks at 500 watts. Plus, the torque sensor ensures the riding experience feels smooth and natural. On significant hills, not surprisingly, you're going to need to put in some work. It's definitely doable if you're on the more active side, just don't expect the bike to take over for you on throttle alone when the incline gets steep. The battery is also on the smaller side given the priority of a lower weight at 252 watt-hours. During my testing, I went about 12 miles using lots of throttle and cruising at high speeds, and I finished with one battery bar remaining. I should note that this included 2 trips up our massive hill climb test. Even towards the end of the ride on throttle alone, the bike still held me at 18 miles per hour. On the low end, you're probably looking at about 20 miles of range, but Urtopia's claimed 50-mile range is definitely possible if you're using eco, on flat terrain, of course without using the throttle, and perhaps being a lighter weight rider. The Fold 1 Step-Thru uses standard T-style handlebars as we see on many folding e-bikes. Depending on your height and how you adjust them, it results in a pretty upright riding position. Personally, I'd like to see some BMX style bars for more adjustability, though I understand the trade-off there is a bulkier footprint when the bike is folded. Keep in mind that this bike doesn't have suspension, so you'll want to stick to smooth paths and paved roads. One trade-off with the seat post battery, which is a clever solution for folding e-bikes, is that you can't swap in a suspension seat post for extra comfort. Also, make sure you budget an additional $29 if you want the throttle here, and Urtopia does sell a rear rack if you need storage. If the lightweight carbon fiber build is what you're after, but this specific folding form factor isn't for you, make sure you check out our other videos on Urtopia e-bikes. We've reviewed the entire Urtopia lineup, including their full-size commuters and high-performance models. If we've helped you with your e-bike purchase decision, be sure to check out the links down in the description. Thank you so much for your support. Remember, bigger motors and bigger batteries always mean extra weight. You should carefully consider whether your specific use case actually warrants the extra bulk. With the Urtopia Carbon Fold Step-Thru, you're getting a sleek, accessible package without the carbon fiber tax you'd otherwise expect. Let me know what you think down in the comments section, and I will see you in the next one.